You know, I was thinking about something right now. I don't know if I can even formulate coherent thoughts right now, but I'm gonna try. Uh, I'm in the middle of grinding for diamonds, diamonds, in Minecraft. So let's see if I can actually stay on topic here. Um, Something that I wish that they told us, and I say this in a facetiously kind of way. I'm 39 now, right? I'm an old fucking man, which is crazy to me to like say it, right? That I'm 39. It's like just hearing that number. My aunt a couple of weeks ago asked me, "Did you ever imagine you were going to be the age that you are?" And it was a good question because no, I it's weird how time flows, right? But what I think about isn't that particular. Like, I don't lament getting old. I actually kind of like to look back and see that I've made some kind of progress in life, right? I unfortunately would say that I'm a fucking idiot because it took me a long time to figure out things that you would think are simple lessons, but the reality is that they weren't simple for me. But that's not what I want to talk about. Again, I'm not trying to lament the lessons or anything like that. What I'm actually trying to get at is I miss the innocence of being young, you know? I look at like the state of the world right now and the way that people talk about other individuals, and I find it to be a little bit on the disgusting side, you know? The way that people can just say, you are born, racist or having a specific disposition. And I just say to myself, like, what? That's such a tiny way of looking at the world to say such a disgusting thing. And you see videos of children and the way that they talk, right? And I can't help but just be like mad at other adults. Because I know I say like other adults, right? Like I'm not one, but what I mean by that, it's just like the stupid shit that clouds our mind. The shit that we get mad about. But that wasn't there before. And I'm sure for some people it is different. We all grow up in different places in life, right? And so sometimes it's one of those things where it is very apparent, and you have to go through these, you have to go through adversity and whatnot. And that is unfortunate. It is unfortunate that there's still dumb fucking people out there that think that way. As small-minded as they are, but they are that. Small-minded. And I gotta tell you, I think that's the part that I hate. Like when I was growing up, and dealing with, adults and shit. When I was in high school, when I was in middle school, I never like looked at anyone or anything like that in a negative way. I never even when I was in when I was in high school, I used to think like, man, we're really over this whole race shit, and you know, and maybe, you know, we were at that time, you know. And I say that because like I saw all these fucking white chicks and Hispanic girls going out with black dudes, Hispanic guys. I'm Mexican myself, right? And like I just didn't see that, you know. And this is me, you know. I grew up in California, in North Hollywood, right? I went to North Hollywood High, and I just never saw that. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, right? But like I think I was fortunate enough in my life to never have to have that happen to me. Like were there people that talked shit? Sure, right? But you're always gonna get fucking people that talk shit, and I'm okay with that. Like it to me, shit talking is not racism, you know. And I look at the people that, you know, flood the media now and talk about these things, and it's just like, I never used to care about like, I remember the first time, I like there was a mention of like what is it, race swapping? It was with Fantastic Four, right? With Michael B. Jordan, and I remember I was talking with my friend Brandon, right? And who I also work with, and he was telling me like, oh yeah, dude, like people are mad because Michael B. Jordan, you know, he's a black guy, he's playing Johnny Storm, and I was just like, why does it even matter? As long as he portrays the characteristics of Johnny Storm, then it shouldn't matter, right? And that was my genuine thought process. It didn't even cross my mind, right? And then as the years progressed, I hate that I noticed that now. I don't know if anybody else is tired of it. And I think this is one of the reasons why like I'm starting to make my own shit. I'm tired of like hearing other people just be haters. I'm not saying that, by the way, I'm not saying that shit doesn't happen and that it isn't annoying and that it's, you know, I personally find when they do race swapping on a lot of characters to be cowardly on the part of the characters, of the franchises, on the companies that own these characters, right? Like I think to myself, and it's just like, you know, where the fuck is Static Shock? Right? Where the fuck is Bishop? Where the fuck is Spawn? Where the fuck is Blade? You know? Where's Storm? You know? And it's like they have so many incredible characters to choose from and to add to this world, and it's just like they don't do it. But again, that's besides the point. As I said, like for me, what I get angry with is even when you don't want to, eventually you hear so much of one thing that you start to just notice it everywhere, and then you can't unsee it, even if it's not meant to be found, you know? There's this fucking guy called Sadhguru. He makes a lot of videos on, you know, philosophy and, you know, his sort of way of thinking in life and what have you. And I don't remember exactly how he worded, but he basically talks about how when someone is looking for something, if you give them enough time and they continue to seek this out, right? If they continue to go down that path and eventually see some sort of fragment, they eventually will start creating patterns and things in their mind, and I forgot exactly the way that he worded it, but he said like he ended it with like the possibility of knowing exists. It's like if the searching arrives, then seeking, if seeking continues or arrives, then the possibility of knowing exists. I don't exactly remember. This video is old, like 10 years ago now. Maybe 8-10 years ago. And he just basically like laid out exactly what I think a lot of people go through, where we end up fighting, I'm sorry, not fighting, but finding these patterns and things in places that I guess like don't belong. And again, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, because it does, right? But do we also look for it, right? Do at some point, are we the ones that are creating the stupid things in our head? You know, or at some point, are we the ones at fault? And by we, I mean you, like us, our individual self, you know, like the person that we are, how we have been in a way, subconsciously, I don't want to say made, but like we just start to thinking that way. And I again, like, back in the day when I first started playing video games, if I would see like a female video game character, didn't even cross my mind. Didn't give a fuck, you know? And now there's all this bullshit attached to it, right? But then I also agree with the consensus of like, yo, female video game characters used to be the shit. You know? They used to have it all. Like, video game characters, to me, in a lot of ways, are like superheroes, right? They should represent a type of fantasy. And I'm not talking about like fantasy like fetish, right? But like something greater than ourselves, if that's the way that the character is portrayed, right? And the funny part about it is that, like, you know, you hear all these people talking about like, oh, you know, guys, men don't like female video game characters, and it's just like, that's a straight up fucking lie, right? Because I look and I think to myself, like, if you don't represent Wonder Woman, Lara Croft, Ripley from Alien, Chun-Li, Cammy, there's like, you know, I forgot the name of the girl from, like, there's these characters, and I know that you guys know which ones I'm talking about, right? That if you don't do your fucking homework and you don't represent them correctly, people are gonna be like, yo, dude, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, making one, like, for instance, it's funny too, because like we see it in these like little you know, stupid engagement fucking posts that these losers play, or that they'll make or whatever with wait, is that right? Oh, that's uneven. So much for finding diamonds. I found, what, 17? And look at how much I got. A plenty of this bullshit though. Anyways, let's go back to it. But if you don't represent some of these, like a lot of these female characters properly, then you're also gonna deal with people that are just like, yo, dude, put some respect on this character. You know, especially a character like Wonder Woman. Because, you know, do we need to remind you that Wonder Woman is on the Mount Rushmore of fucking superheroes? I don't think I need to remind anybody about that. But Wonder Woman is on the Mount Rushmore of fucking superheroes. So you better put some fucking respect on her name in any iteration of how, especially like depending on how you represent her. And if you don't represent her properly, there's a fuck ton of fans that will not like it, because this is fucking Wonder Woman. You know? But, you know, again, I'm kind of just going off on another, on a side tangent here, but I just think to myself on how, you know, when when we were like, at least, I think to myself when I was younger, that shouldn't even cross my mind. You know? A lot of the bullshit that people talk about, complain about, whatever it is, right? Didn't even fucking cross my mind. Just straight up. And it is annoying to a certain degree to be in a place and time where you think that this shit should be done and over with, but for some reason people are still bitching and whining about this stuff and representing it. Or actually, what the fuck am I saying? What am I even fucking talking about right now? I'm telling you, I can't fucking play this game and talk at the same time. Let's get back on point here. Growing up, being a child, we don't ever have to... It's not even that. I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. I don't know if I could do scripts and shit like that. I just kind of go off the hip, if you haven't noticed. But I don't remember being this jaded. I don't remember... I don't even know if jaded is the correct word, right? I don't remember a time where when you're growing up, you have adults taking any form of responsibility for the dumb shit that we think, and then to have the audacity of some people to say that, like, you are I don't fucking know, like, predisposition to be racist because you're fucking white. I think that is some of the most toxic, most hateful, stupid shit I've ever fucking heard. Like, just straight the fuck up. I think that people that think that way are fucking disgusting. I think that regardless of what race you're from, there's always a bunch of fucking assholes and there's a bunch of, like, great people. Right? And yet somehow, for some reason, we focus on the idiots. Why? Why is that? And I wonder if it isn't our fault. And what I mean by our fault, I'm not saying like you. I'm talking about people like me. I think I'm a pretty well-spoken guy. I think that I can convey my thoughts and emotions in a clear way. Not everyone's like that. And that's not me hating. That's just... It's like some people are just... Like, for instance, people that are really good at math. Dude, I'm trash at math. I can't fucking do it. I'm a fucking idiot. Numbers just blow my brain and, like, to dust. Like, straight up. I don't know why. Well, actually, I know why, because I was lazy as fuck in high school, and I ditched, and I did everything in my power to just be a failure in life. And, I would say that it's pretty on brand for me because I do think that in a lot of ways I have failed. I failed because, I wasn't honest with myself in a lot of ways. But that's besides the point. What I'm getting at, though, is I don't know if it's just me getting older. I don't know if it's me, like me changing ever since my mom passed away. But there's just things that I look at now and I think about them in a different way, right? Like like sometimes I look at my favorite superheroes, right? And the attributes that they have and why I love them. And yet I do nothing to emulate it. Isn't that funny? I say that Spider-Man is my superhero, my favorite superhero. And yet I have done nothing to be anything like Spider-Man. I don't, represent hope or goodness. I'm lazy. I started working out about about a month and a half ago now. I'm probably on month 2 because I got lazy and shit, right? But but it was I was talking about how people like me are the problem, right? And the reason I brought up the whole superhero thing is because I think about the speech, not the speech, but what Dr. Otto tells Peter in Spider-Man 2, right? And he tells him intelligence is a gift. It should be used for the good of mankind. I don't know what good I bring to the world. And then that's my fault, right? And now I'm thinking to myself, I do think that, and maybe I could be wrong, but I'm just a normal person, right? I'm just a regular dumb fuck. And if I could use, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but maybe I could talk for people like myself that have a hard time communicating what I just said. That people that create these skewed perspectives, these bullshit agendas, these claims of, others being racist, you're full of shit. Most people don't give a fuck about any of that. Most people live by the rule that I live by, and that's if you're cool, I'm cool. And it's that simple. It doesn't need to be any deeper than that. Granted, there's always going to be people that you don't, get along with. That's fine, right? But I don't. When people paint others for something as like the color of their skin, and that's what you're going with, I can't get behind that. I haven't seen that. And again, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm not saying that there isn't shitty people in the world, right? But I'm saying if you're gonna call the vast majority of individuals like that, I call bullshit. I just call 100% bullshit. And if anything, it's not people. It's these big-ass fucking companies that use math and statistics and algorithms to be like, who buys more? Who buys this? And these numbers happen to correlate with either money or whatever, and then something, and then that turns into like, whatever data that they have, and that's how, these motherfuckers do their thing. Brother, I have 17 diamonds, and I have like fucking been just talking my ass off. Look at this shit. What the actual fuck, game? Whatever. But I don't. I don't know. I don't see people in the same way that I'm sorry, I'm not going to categorize people in the same way that a lot of the other people have been, because I think it's gross. I think it's fucking disgusting. I think it's also shitty. I think that if you think that way, you are of tiny mind, and no one should take you seriously. I think that the moment that you bring up race in any way that isn't just, yo man, I was hanging out with my black friend, or but even then, doesn't that sound stupid? Like, imagine if you actually talk that way. Who says that, right? Aren't you gonna be like, yo, I was hanging out with my friend Travis, or I was hanging out with my fucking friend, Dylan, right? But who the fuck says, oh, I was hanging out with my black friend? Like, what? Because he's not your black friend. He's just your friend. Or if your white friend, you're gonna call him Cody or Duncan or Jim, or and if it's a fucking Mexican like me, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, I was hanging out with Caesar, Raul, Jose, whatever the fuck, right? But it's just like these people that like talk like that are just fucking monkeys. Taking a page from Frieza here, but they are. To me, that's exactly what they are. They're fucking monkeys that think that they are something that they definitely aren't. You're not intellectual. You're not fucking smart. You're just hateful. You're fucking hateful. And that's all you can spread. Your hate. I'll put that there so I know exactly where to start. Yes, that's one. But anyways, I don't know if any of the shit that I said makes any sense, but I will say that people piss me off. A lot of the people that are in the media, a lot of the people that, talk for us, and I just think to myself, like, I don't need you to talk for me anymore. I'm fucking done with that shit. Most people aren't what you say that you are. Most people are tired of having to see these like stupid, or I don't know if I don't even know if a red herring is the right word for it, but like I think people are just tired of everything. People are tired of being lied to. People are tired of the bullshit from everybody, you know? And then for you to just be like, oh yeah, people are just... For us to like start to slowly see the signs, not literally, right? But figuratively, that they want us to see, even if it's a subconscious level, that's what pisses me off about adults. You know? And then we see stories like the one, I'm pretty sure this is a pretty old video now, but there's a story of like this little girl who was like at a store or whatever, and she bought, like she wanted a doll. And, you know, she goes to the register, and then and again, it's the fucking adult that says it, right? It's not the little girl, it's the fucking adult. And the adult says to her, like, but she, like, are you sure this is the doll you want? And then she's like, she doesn't look like you. And the little girl says, like, I think her response is like, well, what do you mean? You know, she's a doctor, I want to be a doctor, and she's pretty too. And there's like this, it's a little white girl who had like a fucking doll that was black. And again, that's the mentality of a child. And who fucking corrupts the child? It's us, the adults, with our dumb shit, you know, with the stupid shit and the predispositions that we have. And I think that we need to do a better job at representing ourselves as adults, as people, right? I think, you know, sometimes I think to myself, like, shit, man, like, you know, us, we live in, you know, we live in the United States, right? And it's almost like we're part of a crazy social experiment, right? If there's ever gonna be some kind of like world understanding, because I don't think world peace is ever gonna be a thing, but if we're ever gonna be able to take the foot out of our asses from like as humans, right? Then we need to like learn how to lock in and be better for everybody. Because if we don't, what, like, it's not that I care about what the world thinks, because I could give a fuck, right? But like, if we're ever gonna make any headway at getting to be something great, you know, if we're ever going to be something truly worth aspiring to, right? I think that we are the ones that need to make that. We have to create that example, because we're the United States of America, right? We're the ones that are that are taking the best. Supposedly, we should be taking the best that the world has to offer and show the rest of the world what we can do together when you mix all of us into this nation. Because if we can't do that, then why would any fucking other global power look at us and be like, yo, maybe this is something that we should look into? Right now, why? We're fucking stupid. You got people saying that they're oppressed. They got an iPad in one hand and a Starbucks in the other. hilarious. But anyways, as I said, I think that our predisposition and how we kind of go about guiding our children, we need to do a better job. Because right now we're creating I do believe that we are creating hateful people. Because we just have this necessity to say things like that. And again, like, it's not even that like most people say that, because I don't think so. It's the people that we allow into these positions that speak for us. These are the people that we need to get rid of. Just straight the fuck up. And I'm not saying like in some sort of violent way, because for me, if you're the kind of person where you advocate for violence, like off the rip, you have no reason to be a part of civilization. Just like, if you think that way, then I'm sorry, but you don't belong as part of, society. That's why it's called civilization. You have to be civil. And if you can't do that, then go fuck yourself. But anyways, I don't know if any of the shit that I said makes sense. I don't know if anyone fucking agrees. I think about that. And I don't know. I'm saddened by the state of the world, but I also feel like I haven't done shit to help it. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, or if I'm just fucking dumb and I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm completely and utterly full of shit. I don't know.